Well, that was a pleasantly surprising game, and we're going to talk about it live next on Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. With me, as usual, is my co-host, Brian McKeon.
Wow.
Well, that was a pleasantly surprising game. We're going to talk all about it. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live or when they premiere. On today's show, we'll preview the finale between the Yankees and the Guardians. We wonder what happens if Luis Gil is actually out longer than expected. What happens with the rotation? What if it's a long-term injury? We're going to go through all those nightmare scenarios for some reason. But first, we're going to be really positive in segment one because it was a great game at Yankee Stadium on Wednesday night.
Yeah, way more than you thought you'd get out of Nestor, that's for sure. Like, you haven't seen this kind of performance out of him in a while, and you get pretty much the entire game, 7 shutouts. You only needed 6 outs out of the bullpen. Really great job out of Nestor. I'd say it's a little concerning that Judge and Soto were all the RBIs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's such a mantra for what the team's been this entire year.
But people did get on base for them, though, right?
True.
Like,
which has not been a thing all year.
Yeah.
You can give them credit for that.
That's a positive there. At least there were people on base. They weren't solo. That was a 3-run double. That was amazing. But yeah, I understand being the power of the offense only being them, but the fact that guys got on base ahead of them makes me feel a little better about everything.
Yeah, complete team win, and weird to dominate a team like Cleveland, who really doesn't get blown out like this a lot.
Right.
So honestly, a good performance. You have to feel good about this one. Sometimes you gotta take the wins in stride, right? Like, we can be upset when they have losses, and we can overreact over losses all we want. But when they win games, enjoy that. And the Orioles lost an absolute backbreaker today. So
yes.
you gained a game on them. They can't seem to beat the Mets, which is,
Yankees can't either.
New York's helping out New York, I guess, in this sense. But yeah, I mean, I'd be a little concerned over Judge and Soto, that being the only offense. That would be the only concern that I have in this game. But Nestor, I mean, really came through and gave you exactly what you needed in this spot, especially with what the bullpen looked like after yesterday. You really needed a long start out of their starter. We said this going into today. They needed Nestor to give them length, and me and you, I think, on yesterday's show had absolutely no faith that they would get length out of him.
Nope. I apologize, Nestor.
Exactly.
I'm very sorry. Ye of little faith. That's me. Sorry. So sorry. No, it was very pleasant watching this. And it's another shutout, or another 7 shutout innings for Nestor, which he did also against the White Sox. So he does it against one of the worst teams in the league, and he does it against one of the better teams in the league. So this is a good sign. Like, the White Sox the White Sox game was also a good sign just because he's been looking bad against everyone. But against Cleveland, who's one of the top teams in the league, this is a really good sign from him. He looked comfortable.
I think we were skeptical, the two of us, after the White Sox game, right? Just because it was against the White Sox.
You were more than I was.
True.
I was just happy for him because I felt like this might get him going, maybe. Like, that, even that kind of a performance, even against a team who's not that good, can still instill confidence in someone, because he's just been so up and down,
I want to bring up Jared's comment, actually, because I think it is important here. That the rest of the lineup needs to step it up. It can't just be Judge and Soto. I feel both sides of this argument, right? Like, so I agree with him. I don't think you can just win with the two of them. And I think you need contributions from other people. But having said that, the best teams in the sport win championships because their best players are being their best at the right time. And you know what? You do need more production besides Judge and Soto to win a World Series, but you also are going to need Judge and Soto to win a World Series. You're going to need the two of them to perform at the top. So it's a double-edged sword, right? Like you're going to need both. And you're going to need games like this in the postseason where Judge and Soto both come through and win you a game. And you're going to need games where the rest of the offense comes through. It's two things here, and I think that's very important. I mean, Aaron Judge now on pace for this year, and correct me if I'm wrong, Stacey, this year feels more dominant than the 62. It feels like he's more of an all-around player this year. And it's not that he wasn't an all-around player. But this year, you're getting the batting average is up to what, like 335 now. The on-base percentage is the best in baseball at like almost 500. He's got like 120 RBIs already, 45 homers. He's on pace for 60.
47. It's 47 homers.
On pace for 60.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if he breaks 62, I don't think he needs to break 62 to make this the best season of his career. This feels like the most all-around best year that he's had. And it would be a shame to waste that. And it feels like in times they are because of how bad the offense has been.
Right.
But then, he's got to perform in October.
Right.
And that's it. That's what this all comes down to.
Yeah.
He has to have games like he had tonight in October. And he wants to be included in the all-time great Yankees. And I think he will go down as one of them. But let's be real. All those old-time Yankees, all those all-time great Yankees, excluding Tom Mattingly, what do they all have in common? They have world championships, and they played really well in those moments. They came through in the right times. And Judge hasn't. And this is the year to prove it. This is the year to do it. Put the team on your back and carry them. They're going to need you because they're not hitting. And a lot of nights they're not pitching. But this is the time to do it. And, it's very possible because you saw nights like he had tonight where he can very much do that.
I know he's on pace for 60, but I think because he's already hit 62 and there was that lull toward the end where it took him a while to get to 62, I feel like if he goes on a tear toward the end of the season, you know what I mean? If he just even if he keeps up this pace, but then he somehow goes on some sort of a little bit of a mini tear where he's having one of those one of those weeks where he's just hitting a home run a game, I wouldn't be shocked if he finished with like 64 or 65 at this point with the way he's playing.
The pressure is not there. The pressure from last year is not there. So I really think there's a chance that he gets it and blows by it and hits 2 or 3 home runs more than it because the pressure isn't there. The record, he's breaking his own record. So it's not there. He's already done it. I don't, weirdly enough though, the year that he hit 62, I was very invested and I really wanted him to get the number. I don't feel that way this year. I care much more about the team's final results now. Like I wanted Judge to break it the year that he broke it. Right now, I care way more about what their final results are than I do about what they do, what he does 62 wise. He could hit 60, 59, 68. I don't care. I want them to win a World Series. Like that's it. Perform in the postseason. That's all that matters.
Right. Soto, new career high in home runs, number 36. I just think it's funny that on back-to-back nights, 35 for Soto, 45 for Judge, then 36 for Soto, 46 for Judge, and then Judge added an extra one for 47. I mean, what can you say about these two? They're just they're incredible. The two of them. It's such a pleasure to watch both of them. And I know they're the majority of the offense right now, but who cares? If they win the game, it's great. If they don't, it's annoying, but they won. So it's okay. And it's just so much fun watching the two of them, watching them hit, watching them interact, watching like everything that they do in the dugout, on the field. It's just a pleasure watching those two, really.
He's going to finish the season with 40 and 100 and likely hitting 310. And it's going to go by the wayside because Judge is going to win the MVP. Think about that. He's going to finish the year with better power numbers than 90% of Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. It's a joy to watch the two of them. And by the way, they're both going to finish with well over 40 and 100. And this is with the two of them playing back-to-back in the lineup all year with no run support. Could you imagine if the two of these guys played on the 09 team where there were guys on base all the time?
Right.
What they'd finish with. I mean, you're talking about two guys that are going to hit 40 and 100 with no one on base when they get up. And they're playing behind each other. They're almost every day. Has there been a day with the lineup this year where they haven't been directly next to each other in the lineup? I don't think so.
No.
And they're still going to finish with 40 homers and 100 RBIs. It's a marvel to watch every day. It really is.
Yeah, it's just, I like the pitcher's reaction to Judge's second home run because he was just like,
what am I going to do? I mean, Soto right now, 302, 36 homers, 93 RBIs, 1.045 OPS.
Mm-hmm.
That's an MVP player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not gonna get the MVP because of Judge. But look at those numbers. That's insane. It's the best 1-2 punch that I think I've seen in my Yankee fandom. And that's including A-Rod, Teixeira. That's including a lot of really good guys back and forth. But I don't think I've seen this before. This is outrageous.
Jose, I agree with you. To the audio listeners, it says, I love their handshake, kind of obsessed. I love it too. I've said this on the show. I love that everyone has a handshake. You have a handshake with every single guy on the roster, no matter who it is. You have your own celebration. My ADHD brain could not handle trying to figure out everyone's handshake. So I give those guys credit. So good rebound. They needed it after Tuesday's game because it was absolutely horrendous, that game. And what can you say about Judge? What can you say about Soto? And let's just, for Nestor, I mean, the Yankees needed this so badly. He stepped up. Amazing. Just an amazing, amazing job. Okay. We're going to move to segment 2, but don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. Also, reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday. If you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Fan Mail Friday will be handled by Brian this week by himself. Should be fun. And some of the insiders are asking him interesting questions, so it should be fun. And speaking of the insiders, if you join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, there's a link in the description. You will get special perks. The main one, you're in segment 1 of Fan Mail Friday. There's a 14-day free trial. Please try it out and say hi because it's fun. Coming up, there was Luis Gil. We thought of this earlier. They're saying it's a minor back strain, but what if it's not? What will the Yankees have to do to fill in for him, and who will they pick? So we're going to talk about that.
What's up, Locked On Yankees fans? Even the most dedicated gym goers struggle with consistency. The commute, waiting for weights, other people's sweat, it makes skipping a workout very tempting. With Tonal, you can choose thousands of workouts and train in a way you actually enjoy at home. Tonal is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps you get stronger. It's powered by AI. Tonal learns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. Tonal learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. They even create personalized program with workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's like having a personal trainer at home with you, as Tonal will optimize every workout just for you. And unlike traditional gym equipment, Tonal uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques. From professional athletes to mom of 3, Tonal is trusted by thousands who have become their strongest. Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Tonal.com and use promo code, one word, LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. That's Tonal.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off. Welcome back. Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. And for your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. We welcome you all back. And yeah, Stacey, what you said at the end of the segment, it's kind of true. I don't know how much any Yankee fan really believes that they think the Luis Gil is a minor lower back strain, because I don't believe it at all. I think there's a
why?
lot.
Wait, why? Why wouldn't you believe it? Why wouldn't you trust the Yankees when they tell you that someone isn't that injured?
There's a lot of credence too over the last two starts that it seemed like toward the end of both starts, Luis Gil was tiring out and falling apart. And it could have to do with the injury. And it could also have to do with this is the highest workload he's literally ever had in his entire career.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that. And it's not easy. If this is a long-term injury, they could be hurting because they're going to need him. And he's been their best pitcher all year. He's been their most consistent and their best pitcher all year. I think this means a lot for the postseason roster. I think you're going to have to see what Schmidt looks like coming back. I don't know if this means that Stroman winds up moving into your playoff rotation. There's a lot of questions now that need to be answered. And I think this makes a lot of things lean on a lot of players in this team, including Carlos Rodon.
Yeah.
Because this means that Rodon has to become the ace, and there's no other option, but he has to become Luis Gil. And I don't know if he has that this year. I don't know if he has that in his Yankee tenure, to be quite honest with you. There's just, this is a huge blow for this team. And I don't know if you sit here and look at that Luis Gil injury and feel like, oh, they're going to figure this out. Because I don't feel that way at all.
Do you think, would it be possible that maybe the strain is minor, but they're going to make it into a phantom IL where it lasts a little longer than 15
I'd be fine
days?
with that. I mean, listen, they're I don't want to speak out of turn, but their playoff spot is all but locked up at this point, right? Like, they're not going to miss the postseason at this point. They're 20 games over 500. They're going to get in whether it's a wild card or a division. Now, I hope it's the division, but they're going to find their way into the postseason. If he needs the rest and you need to conserve his arm, then do that. Other teams do it all the time. So I don't think there's much shame in doing that, and I think it will be worth it.
They can do it in September, right? When they add people to the roster.
Oh, they'll have plenty of room to do. They can do it now. They can just keep Will Warren on the Major League roster and do it.
Right.
I think that's the best. I don't think that's intentionally what's going on here, though.
Right.
Like, I think he's actually hurt because I don't think he comes out of the game if he's not actually hurt. And I don't think their intention is to sit him. But I think if they realize that he's hurt and they realize that he needs time to sit, then you got to sit him.
Yeah.
It's not as important to get him starts in September and get him over 200 innings as it is to make sure he's healthy in October. And you're going to need him to be. I don't think this team goes very far in the postseason without him pitching the way he's pitched all year. It's so pivotal for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting regardless to see how the rotation shakes out, shapes up, forms, all the different phrases that you use, just because of who's in it and who they need to step up, because Cole is looking more like Cole. We said it the other day. The only really bad starts were both against the Mets. He's not going to have to worry about the Mets. Probably not in the playoffs. And like you said, Rodon needs to be consistent, and he's just not.
It's frustrating because there are games that you watch with Rodon where he looks like San Francisco Giants, Chicago White Sox Rodon, where he's unbelievably dominant and he's striking guys out and he looks terrific.
Yep.
And then there are days with Rodon where he looks like he can't hit the broadside of a barn. Right. And there's no explanation for it. It doesn't make any sense. He's extremely inconsistent, but at least with a lot of inconsistent guys in baseball, you kind of sort of know what you're getting, right? Like either way, you're getting a 3-inning game. Nestor Cortes is the perfect example, right? Whereas he doesn't often give you this 7 shutout innings. Usually with Nestor, it's inconsistency, but it's either 3 runs or 6 runs. And the 6-run starts annoy you. And sometimes you don't even win the 3-run starts. But regardless, it's inconsistent, but you kind of know what you're getting every single time in a weird way. It's consistently inconsistent.
You're right.
With Rodon, you don't know. It's either 7 runs of 4 walks and can't command the zone, or it's shutout ball, 13 strikeouts, and unbelievable. And it's very hard to have a pitcher like that in your rotation when you don't know what you're going to get. But regardless, listen, gave him the big contract. He's on your roster. That's it. Like, he's pitching in the postseason. There's no other way to justify him not. And he has to come through. There's no other option. You're not going to win without him pitching well. You're just not.
That's what they signed him for. To be the number 2.
You're only making a run, and you're only going as far as Rodon and Cole take you. And I think you can afford Luis Gil to not be amazing in the postseason. You can afford Marcus Stroman to give you playoff starts where he's going 6 innings of 2 runs. And you can afford all those things. You can't afford Rodon and Cole to not be great. You're only winning with those two being great. And it's a lot. It's the case with a lot of teams in Major League Baseball. How many teams in the past can you read me off that don't have 2, maybe not ace pitchers, but 2 pitchers that are pitching like aces at the right time, right? Like, I don't think anyone considers Patrick Corbin an ace. But you look back on the Nationals run from years ago, they had Scherzer, they had Strasburg, and they had Corbin all pitching like aces at the right time. And yeah, they were using the bullpen and out of weird situations, sure. But they were all pitching like aces at that moment. And I don't think anyone considers Patrick Corbin an ace. But they got it that year, and that's all that matters. You're going to need that at some point if you're the Yankees. And I think you can get it out of Schmidt, honestly. I think you can get it out of, I don't know if you can get it out of Stroman, but I think you can get good pitching out of Stroman. You need it out of Rodon. You need it out of Cole. These are the things you kind of need. And there's a lot of teams right now that have really good pitching, including the Orioles, including the Royals. There's going to be a lot of teams that are hard to get through. You're not beating those teams without your top pitchers pitching like aces also.
Oh, the other day I couldn't think of the pitcher that the Orioles got. It was Zach Eflin, and he's now on the IL because I couldn't think of who it was. And then he went on the IL. I was like, that's who I was thinking of. Okay. It's kind of amazing that once you get into the playoffs, you really only need 3 pitchers.
Yeah, that's it.
You just need them to perform well.
It feels like you need 7 in the regular season. I mean, Yankees have pretty much had all 7, right? I mean, they've had Schmidt for half the year. They've had Warren come in and out. It feels like they've pretty much had 7 all year. And yet in the postseason, it's 3.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you skip your 4th guy start whenever you get the opportunity to in the postseason.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, I mean, that's the whole reason why they traded Jordan Montgomery away. He's not a playoff pitcher. We don't need him.
I mean, listen, I didn't love that trade last year, and the way he pitched with the Cardinals kind of really hurt the Yankees. But let's not kid around here. Look at what Jordan Montgomery. Yeah, look at what Jordan Montgomery is doing right now in Arizona.
Yeah, he's not doing well
at all.
No, he's not doing well, and it's weird because him and Blake Snell both started late. Snell didn't look great, got injured, and now Snell's like unstoppable and striking out like 15, 16 guys a game every start for some reason, all of a sudden. Incredible. But Jordan Montgomery's like,
You're right. It's insane. And they signed Montgomery to that big contract, and they really had a lot of faith in him. And I know Arizona's kind of in a weird spot franchise-wise, but they gave him that big deal hoping for a lot. And Stacey, you look around and no one wanted to trade for him at deadline. No one wanted him.
No.
And they gave him that giant deal. And it's weird enough, too, because Arizona's gotten really hot, and Arizona's going to find their way into the postseason, and they're going to compete. And it's all without their big free agent signing.
Yeah, kind of crazy. All right, coming up next, we're previewing the finale between the Guardians and the Yankees. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trade. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electronical supplies. That's not the word, electrical supplies online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, you get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and you talk to a real person every single time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trademaster program. Every Trademaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM, which stands for Trademaster, and you can order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere. It's just a few clicks away at supplyhouse.com. And Locked On Yankees is also sponsored by Game Time. So if you're looking for tickets for just about anything, check out Game Time. It's the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and shows near you. Yankees baseball is in New York until Sunday. Game Time has deals right up to moments before the game starts and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute tickets. So if you decide to go to Yankee Stadium like a half hour after the game starts Friday night, you can still get tickets. And even better, you can walk up to the entrance and use your phone, click on the app, and get the tickets like right as you're walking in. You can also find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for hockey, basketball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app today and get $20 off your first purchase with code LOCKEDONMLB. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off, and download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Now remember, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. You just download the SiriusXM app and search the word Yankees. I really can't believe I said electronical. My mouth was just not working during that live read. I apologize. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough week. So the finale of the series, it's a 1:05 start today, tomorrow, Thursday. That's right. We're live right now. We're not recording this. So tomorrow, Thursday. If you're watching this on Thursday, it's today. Garrett Cole against Gavin Williams. Garrett Cole is 4-2 with a 4.15 ERA. Again, if you take the Mets starts out, he's doing a lot better. And Gavin Williams is 2-5 with a 5.02 ERA. I will say, I was happy that the Yankees actually scored that many runs. And I know it was really only Soto and Judge, but I'm happy that they scored that many runs against a dude who came into the game with a high ERA on Wednesday night. You know, it was nice to see because they couldn't do that over the weekend. And so on Saturday, talking about Saturday's game, because what was his name? I can't think of the starter's name from Saturday on the Tigers, but his ERA was like astronomical and the Yankees could not hit against him. So you're muted.
A surprise to nobody. For full disclosure, I do mute myself when Stacey does her reads because I don't want to interrupt or drink water or sneeze while she's doing her reads. So it's out of respect. All right. The starter on Saturday was Montero. It was Kiter Montero, who they couldn't seem to solve.
That's it.
And Garrett Cole, you're right. The ERA doesn't tell the story with him all year. He's figured it out the last couple of starts. He's been dominant Garrett Cole the last couple of starts. The 4.15 ERA isn't really fair to him that it's there. It's been a really interesting year for Garrett Cole. He came in the middle of the year. It's kind of been flip-floppy. He had a couple starts where he was trying to figure himself out. He's looked really good. And again, they need him to be ace level, top tier, best pitcher in the league, Garrett Cole. Them to have a chance this year. And I think he's close to that.
Yeah.
It's just, can he get fully there?
Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah, because I don't think he's quite there yet, but he's really on the cusp. Like he's close to it and right at the perfect time, really down the stretch. Because, you know,
they need it.
You want Garrett Cole to be in his groove heading into October and through October because you need that. So,
and we've made this point all year. The being injured for those months and coming in middle of the year might be a blessing in disguise because he's got a lot less innings on his arm and he's a lot more fresh coming into the postseason. So it could be as if in the postseason he's in mid-season form, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which could be really helpful. He doesn't have that mileage. The problem we're seeing it with Luis Gil right now is all the mileage on his arm and the mileage on his body that he hasn't had throughout his entire career. Cole doesn't have any of that normal mileage on him at all.
That might even help Clark Schmidt too when he comes back because he missed so many weeks that he'll be also hitting a groove. And he was one of the Yankees' best pitchers when he went down. So hopefully he can continue down that path. I know that Lou Trevino was pitching again. Scott Efros was pitching again.
Yep.
So there are bullpen enforcements on the way. They were pitching in rehab games. I think different levels, if I remember correctly. One was Somerset, I think, right? One was Somerset and someone else was Scranton. I have to double check that.
And they need it not only skill wise, but also just depth in the bullpen in general, like arms. They need arms.
Certain guys' arms are going to fall off.
Yeah,
because they're being used too much. You were talking about you were talking about something with the 2009 team earlier. How like you don't have that whole lineup and I was thinking about what would Clay Holmes' year be like if he had the 2009 defense behind him in the infield?
Well, he'd be the kind of pitcher you want, right? Because the defense was so solid.
Yeah.
Right? Like you had gold glovers at every position. You don't have
that
now.
It's not that he doesn't strike people out, because like sometimes he'll strike out the side, but he'll also give up like those few singles, and it's like,
I mean, you're talking Cano instead of Gleyber Torres, where Cano was an unbelievable fielder. You're talking the winner is second base in the 09 team, right?
Yeah.
Jeter and Volpe, honestly, fielding wise, I'd probably give it to Volpe. I think Volpe's a better fielder than Jeter. I mean, not that Jeter wasn't necessarily a bad fielder, but he wasn't a terrific fielder.
He wasn't.
And Volpe's a terrific fielder. So I'd give it to Volpe. Third base, though, I mean, it's obviously A-Rod. A-Rod was a Gold Glove fielder. He's a better shortstop than he was third baseman, but A-Rod was a Gold Glove fielder. And then
Tex.
Teixeira is one of the best, honestly, one of the best fielding first basemen in the history of baseball. So, which is weird. The Yankees have had two of the best fielding first basemen in the history of baseball in Mattingly and Teixeira. But if you think about that, you're not finding a better infield than that. You're really not. I mean, that was such a sure infield. It's going to take a lot to it would take a lot to replicate that. I wonder what Clay Holmes looked like that 09 team. It's actually a fascinating debate.
Yeah, right? Like that would be interesting to see how they would perform behind him. And I always like to point out to people that Derek Jeter didn't start winning Gold Glove awards till A-Rod showed up and started playing third next to him. So I love Derek Jeter. I do, but let's just be real. Gosh, sometimes watching him play short was agonizing.
Everyone loves Jeter, but you got to call a spade sometimes.
Yeah, all the balls that got past him was like, But yeah, Cano, man, God.
Oh, geez, I mean,
I loved watching him play. I really did. Like,
silky smooth.
I didn't. That's what it was. I didn't like the he's lazy talk. He was just so smooth with the way he played.
Yeah. It wasn't laziness, it was smoothness.
No, yeah. And he could still do that now at nearly 42 years old,
and if he never got caught with the steroids, he'd be an easy first ballot Hall of Famer. Easily.
We're not saying he's not amazing. But
that's not, don't take it that way.
Fielding shortstop. He wasn't. I watched him a lot.
Don't take it that way.
I went to games a lot during his career, and even during the peak, there were instances where he couldn't get to balls. Was it to his left that he was having the issues? Was that I think it was to his left. But anyway, love Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer. Yes, I know.
That's not what we're saying.
Right. It's not what we're saying.
Don't take it that way.
Right. Ooh, they're all getting woo. If you're listening to the show, the YouTube chat is getting spicy. Yes, Derek Jeter is a winner.
Yeah, nobody was putting Derek Jeter down. It's just he wasn't the greatest fielding shortstop in the history of baseball.
He wasn't the greatest fielding shortstop out of those how many that came up all at the Ray Ordonez. Much better fielder, couldn't hit, but really good at fielding. Nomar, hello. The aforementioned A-Rod.
Jeter had the winning and he had the hitting. So, I mean, he's got a lot above those guys, too.
Look at you with the rhyming.
Yeah, it wasn't intentional.
Oh, man. Let's quickly, before we go, let's also give our flowers to Aaron Boone for playing well, thank you, and not playing DJ. Good job, sir.
Playing wells against a lefty. Who would have thought? What a novice concept.
Good job, sir. Now just stop playing Verdugo.
It'll stop, hopefully, once September 1st comes around.
Oh, yeah. Verdugo's playing till September 1st, and then Dominguez will be playing. So we just have a week and a half. How long is it till September 1st? We just have a little bit, and then...
We're almost there.
We're almost there, everyone. So thank you all for joining us live. We appreciate it. We had to do this because I'm traveling early and I didn't want to stay up till 2 a.m. editing the show. So if you're here live, one more reminder, Brian is doing Fan Mail Friday by himself.
Mm-hmm.
So get those questions in. I will put the pinned comment once we're done with this and leave your questions there. Make them fun. Because he's doing the show by himself, so he needs the questions to be fun. Yes, entertain him if you can. One more time, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. And we'd like to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description below if you're on YouTube, so you don't need to search. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. I'll see you tomorrow on Fan Mail Friday.
And I won't, because I won't be here.